So let's move on with the lecture. So here we focus on some different type of processing here. So in future, we need to move towards more personalized medicine. So the key drivers for a change, they are related to this patient. So of course, from patient, we can collect more precise information. So we can collect genetic, metabolic, even lifestyle type of information. So you can have different devices, point of care devices that help you in understanding how this human being is doing. And then these can be collected easily to your mobile devices. So some of you might have these smartphones that can be used for collecting different type of information. So this would be changing the way how we think about pharmaceuticals in the future. So what we have here is a visual presentation of this change. So instead of patient having the simple dialogue with medical doctor, so we can also increase some level of information into this picture. So you can have a full genomic profile available, and that can be supported by multiple devices. And all of a sudden, this information is enough to make more personalized products, more or less like a manufacturing on demanding type of solutions. And then this all is then giving a interesting dimension of thinking about how this distribution of these components should be done in the future. So if we move on towards more personalized products, so maybe we need to adjust the dose every 5 days or something like that. So then the distribution chain needs to be thought. But here in the middle of everything is the information, the data, and then the medical databases will be in an important role in the future. But there are some challenges with this type of products. So the major challenge is actually the classical tablet. So it's very difficult to start customizing the dose here. The personalization of a standard tablet is very difficult. So this is a tablet that I made with my own small hands. So it is some sort of device there in the middle on helping to divide it in 2 parts. But if I want 20% of the dose, so then it's very difficult. So I cannot really cut this in smaller pieces. So this product design doesn't allow for customization. And for that reason, then there's an increasing interest to use different innovative manufacturing solutions. And one solution is additive manufacturing, 3D printing, if you will. So there's already the first product out there. This is FDA approved product from Aprecia Pharmaceuticals. So it's a compound called Spritam, and then there you can customize the dose. So you can, based on 3D printing, then you can print differently sized object for each patient. And then based on this technology, it also is very fast disintegrating systems. So it has very fast disintegration based on this production principle. And future technologies, they involve different type of processing. So this printing of medicine is increasingly important. So here we have few examples of printing drug solutions with a basically inkjet printer. So then using piezoelectric printing principles, we can print very precise amounts of liquids. So in the case of drug solutions, so then you can print precise dose. And then you simply fill the cartridge with a drug solution, and then you go. Another principle that you can use is a contact printing. So you can use flexographic principle and then print a suspension with this Gutenberg type of 500-year-old principle. So, but all these, they bring a bit of a formulation challenges. So with the flexography, we are dealing with the fixed suspensions that needs to be this roll by roll processing principles. So you need to make sure that they will end up to the edible paper in the right amounts. And then that is a bit of a challenging, but from here you can see that the production principle is continuous to start with, and that's of course fascinating possibility for making continuously produced personalized products. When we move to the inkjet printing, then we are basically trying to make this droplet stay together. So that is the key challenge here. So we need to formulate the solution so that it's viscous enough, but not too viscous, so that it remains as a one single droplet. So when it's hitting the edible paper substrate, and then we print the dose here, and then cut the extras off, and then you have made your edible pharmaceutical. And this gives, of course, quite unique possibilities. So you can print not only like a dummy product, but also product that contains information. So if your ink is containing both a drug and coloring agent, so you can print, for example, edible QR codes. So here we have an example where we have been printing haloperidol in edible paper, and then with coloring agents we can make a QR code out of it. And now what the patient can do, the patient can scan the product and then get information about the dosing, and then also information about the production cycle, and then you basically after that eat the data. So that's a ultimate solution for falsified medicine. Is this QR code can only exist once, and then we can make sure with a mobile phone, smartphone app, that it's only the patient who can scan it and eat it. This printing gives also many other opportunities. So 3D printing is a technique where you can build up different structures to products, and you might have seen already in the lectures some examples of 3D printing. So this is quite interesting idea of building up inner structures to product that allow drug release being controlled in the different ways. So by having these physical dimensions changing, we affect the release rate. We can also build up products that have different compartments. So we have a compartment for one API, then another compartment here that is having a slower drug release. And then all of a sudden we have a multi-drug product that is releasing the product exactly on the right place. So we have immediate release compartment, and then the delayed release compartment. And then depending on the wishes, then we can with computer design these in a different ways. So as I mentioned, computer design is important here. So we need to start the design with in silico approach. So computer simulations and computer modeling becomes very important. So we can with computer build up a production line and then describe how powder is moving in this, for example, twin screw extruded geometry. We can simulate powder mixing with the different computer models. In the same way, we can make a computer model out of end product. We can make a tablet simulation. So with computer, we estimate what are the mechanical properties of it. So we can simulate the crushing strength of this, or tensile strength of a tablet. We can also simulate the drug release out of the product. So instead of experimentally trying how your tablet is behaving, then you can with computer simulate how it would behave in different conditions. So this is a fascinating direction of development. We can take these production geometries. Here we have an example of what we have been printing in the laboratory. So we have a small micro mixer for making complex nanopharmaceuticals. So we are printing this geometry for handling both aqueous solution and organic solvent, and some other feeds in there. So there are three different type of streams coming in, and then one stream going out from this production geometry. So in a computer, it looks something like this. So we can design the flow in this geometry, and with computer simulation, we can see how these different flows will behave in this, and we can change the mixing geometry so that the flow behavior will be ideal. So we have three streams coming in and then one stream going out, and then we optimize the residence time here in this geometry so that the nanoparticle formation becomes optimized. And then we can 3D print the whole geometry, and then we have a production of these unique particles in our own homemade production geometry. So we can also do this computer simulation in different levels. So we have been discussing about these hydrates. So we can also simulate phenomena that are happening on a molecular scale. So then you are doing basically the same type of modeling. You model the particle interactions, but now your particles, they are molecules. And this becomes a bit more complicated because molecules have a lot of interactions, but you just simply need a little bit bigger computer for doing that. So here we have an example where we are building up a simulation box for naproxen molecules. So naproxen molecule is here. It's connected to sodium ion and then few water molecules. So what we are having in the simulation box is a naproxen sodium dihydrate. And then we can make with a computer something called supercell. So then it's a crystal lattice like this here. So then it's having 3 times 10 times 10 molecules in there. So we have many rows of these molecules, and then we have been piling them up here, and then we with computer try to predict how it behaves. So with computer we estimate the interactions, keep on increasing the temperature of this system, and then look how the molecules behave. And in this specific case, I just show you a snapshot of a simulation here. Yes, so I'll need to change the pointer back to the. See how we can proceed. Now we are back in this mode. So what you can see in the computer simulation is that we computationally increase the temperature and start removing the water molecules. So we can see that a slight change in the crystal lattice. And then this can be with computer predict what happens during dehydration for this specific system. So let's see it again. So then you can see that there's this specific configuration that at some point there's a small tilting of molecules. That means a change in the crystal structure of this compound. So we can computationally heat it up from one temperature to another temperature and then predict this dehydration behavior. So that gives us a possibility with computer to understand how this system behaves. Okay, so then I think it's a time to start summing up the discussion from today. So we have been discussing today continuous processing. And then we started by contrasting the batch and continuous processing principles. And it is important to notice that you need process analytics for continuous manufacturing line. So you need some measurement points while you process, and then control loops to make sure that you can always produce the desired quality. And then we can also move to more innovative manufacturing solutions. So some of the future solutions, they might involve a bit more complex production solutions. And then I showed you a few examples of 3D printing and 2D printing of systems, and that allows for personalized production solutions. And while you are moving towards these more innovative solutions, so then it's natural to also use computer simulations in supporting you in that work. And you can do process modeling and process computer simulations at different levels. So you can simulate the bulk behavior of a macroscopic objects, but then also you can simulate system behavior at the molecular level. So then I suppose it's time to stop for today and take some discussion. Yeah.